Hi, that was my idea. This project that was about to predict the edit trajectory using the velocity field and make that automated by machine learning. But I changed my project now, and now I want to work with Tobias. So yeah.
Okay.
Great, thank you. Next up is fisheries science.
Hey, Kath, really quick.
Yeah.
Do you have the slides that is there a list of slides you're going through, or is there a way we could share screen to sort of give context to what's being
I
talked
can
about?
try and do that. If
Don't
I'm
worry
doing
about
that,
it if it's too much.
no, I can do that. But Woo-Jung, can you keep track of which people are speaking? Right. Give me a sec. Project ideation. Yeah. Share screen. This one, share. Okay. Can you see that? Great. Fishery science, this slide. Is this project?
So that was my slides. I don't have that like specifics for this project. I don't have a slide. But I'm just interested in marine ecosystem, like modeling species distribution, population prediction, and I found some like data from NOAA about like lobsters and like trawling data. I think we could use that. There are some like location data as well as the capture, like the pounds or kilograms data. But like, I'm not like an expert for this. I don't think I can like lead the project for this. So I really need to speak to people who are interested in this. And then I'm pretty sure there is like another related project led by Dr. Eli.
Great.
So yeah.
Yeah, and that group spoke for a bit in the afternoon in Seattle here, and so we'll create a breakout room for this as well, so people can come and speak to you, and we'll make sure someone's in it if you want to jump out and speak to the other group and see if you can merge projects with them.
Yeah, so my idea was like, if there's so many people really like interested in like fishery science, like I don't think Dr. Eli's project can hold on to like more than 10 people, so like maybe we can divide up.
Yeah,
you know.
Perfect. That sounds good, but there'll be time to discuss that. Thank you.
Kath?
Yep.
People made slides for the pitches. It's a different file.
Okay.
I'm trying to post the, oh no, the chat's turned off. I can't post the.
You post in the slides.
Yeah, I'll try, yeah. So maybe you can show that one, the slides.
I think so the slide is a follow on from the Jamboard that you guys worked on. That's fine. I think just now we're just going to go through these ideation slides to give everyone the chance that had one of these. And then for those of you that took the next step to do the pitch slides in a bit more detail, you can present those within the breakout room that will happen shortly. I think is where we are. But I think if you guys have an ideation slide, it'll come up and you can give an overview of where you are. Okay, oil spill monitoring.
Hi, this is my idea, and we have this group now, so we're gonna work to optimize the extracting metadata from satellite imageries, if have oil or not. So we are working on that.
Great.
I don't know. Sorry. So it just saying that it's not like a classical working artificial intelligence. we're not gonna use neural network or stuff like that. We're gonna be more like the free phase of IE. So
Cool. That's great. Thank you. Inertial oscillations in the marginalized zone.
Yeah, I can talk about that project. This is using satellite imagery to look at a kind of current that exists in the ocean. It's a response to storms. It's like a pretty simple, like looping current. They're important to understand because they're really important for ocean mixing, which we need to understand for things like nutrients and heat. And this project would basically use like little fragmented pieces of ice as passive tracers to see what's happening in the ocean. And so it would be looking at satellite imagery and tracking these individual ice flows so you can have a sense of what the ocean currents are. If this sounds interesting at all, I have like a sort of prototype animation, which looks really cool in my pitch slide. So you should come to this breakout group and then I can show you the animation because that's a lot easier than trying to explain it in words. So that's the project.
Great, thank you. Data page for mooring data.
I can talk about that briefly. So a couple of us on the west coast of Canada, as well as in Puget Sound, we have a lot of mooring data. So we were thinking that it would be cool to put together like an automated and easily like updatable actual data page that would be public facing for this. So the idea was that like in a few chunks, it would be about downloading, maybe a bit of processing for mooring data, as well as working on some visualizations that we would then display on a GitHub page. So there's a few different parts. There's like the more data analysis part, as well as the display. And to be perfectly honest, it's like looking at the OceanHackWeek website, we're like, this would be a great template for trying this out. So yeah, there's a few different pieces there.
Great.
I'm hoping, it's out of my own personal interest, I could use some of the data we're pulling for that to make a Strait of Wandabuga surf forecast, and that would be well, swell height, dominant period, wind, direction and velocity, and then the tide. So I think there's some information that I found online about what the perfect formula for those variables is, but then I'll go out there and ground truth it myself, and it's a good time to go. So I think that's a little beautiful. That'd be a nice little bonus on the page.
Great. Thanks, guys. Filtering sonar data from ships.
This was Joseph's. I'm not sure if he's still doing it.
He's here.
I will explain a little bit more if people are actually interested in doing this. I will help out with the project. This comes from my work with a previous group where we have quality controlled mass data for 20 or 30 years from shipboard ADCP data. And one of the things we've thought about doing in the past was trying to run some machine learning to try to identify where there are artifacts, problems, glitches in the data, and essentially trying to edit out those glitches automatically rather than having to task a person to spend a week or so on each data set to process it. So if you're interested in this, I'm quite happy to talk about it more.
Great, thanks, Joseph. Tutorials for marine species distribution modeling. Eli.
Yeah, so the idea here is to create sort of learn about marine species distribution models by kind of jumping in and creating a simple teaching tutorial. And I would like, so I'm the mentor for this, and we talked in our session about like what kind of data we had, and it seems like we can get some sea turtle data. I have a data set of environmental variables from the Arabian Sea and Bay of Bengal. And so kind of have a suite of environmental variables that we can start off and work with. And there aren't a lot of tutorials on, like short tutorials on marine species distribution models. There are longer tutorials and whole courses, but I haven't been able to find some really like short, clean examples to help people learn this. And there's been I haven't seen marine species distribution modeling in the Arabian Sea and Bay of Bengal. And so that's why I'd like to focus on that region.
Great, thank you. Machine learning approach for Argo data QC.
Hello everyone, my name is Tobias. I'm the mentor of this project. So the idea of this project is to apply a machine learning approach on the quality control of Argo data. So we have right now more than 3,700 Argo floats in operation. They measure profiles of 2,000 different depths, collecting data of temperatures, salinity, and a lot of different. And these data are they apply in real time some quality control codes, and they use some Argo to specify Argo quality control codes. So the idea is to build machine learning unsupervised model to try to help to be an additional to this traditional approach for the quality control. So in this project, the idea is to develop the scripts to get Argo flows from the back, Argo flows from the back, apply unsupervised machine learning model, use some Python libraries. And with this approach, we will try to classify the Argo flows by regions and define the limits. And if you have time, maybe we can try to apply some IOS QC on Argo data to generate some spikes. And with that, also train dense neural network should be an additional to this project. So in the end, we can try to find to get a better. We can try to get better data for Argo flows in real time.
Great, thank you. So this one, investigating the variability of suppression in the South Australian upwelling. I know this one is also on the Australian ideation deck, so I'm not sure if anyone here has been involved in this conversation yet. I'm not hearing anything, so I will step on. If you are interested in any of the Australian projects, you can still participate in them. And we spoke with the Australian organisers last night US time, first thing in the morning Australia, and they are very happy if anyone wants to participate in any of the projects that are kind of being run mostly out of there. And if any of these ideas take your fancy, they said you could pick them up and move them on today and just document it, like make the Slack channel, make the GitHub repo if they don't exist. And then the team over there will pick up what's done today, this time. They'll pick it up for day 2 in Australia time.
I believe this particular project has a GitHub repository.
Great. So maybe there's some, have a look at it, maybe there's some details in a README or something there. Okay, SST prediction.
Yeah, I can talk about that. That project aims to build a machine learning model that takes in the past and days SST distribution data to predict the future SST distribution. So we are going to use either ERA5 data set or the multi-scale ultra high resolution data set. The bounding box would be 2000 to 2020, and the model architecture we are going to benchmark contains the convolutional DM, 3D thin transformers, and we are going to adopt hybrid model architecture to see the optimal solution. Because those model architectures are going to be black box after the training, we're going to use do visualization and interpretation based on Python activities such as line or chat. Yeah.
Great, thank you. Object segmentation of underwater manipulation targets.
Hi, yeah, so I started this project idea. I've hopped over to the oil segmentation project, but if anyone is interested in this, please let me know. I can give you some context and help you get started. But basically, it's just, it's more of a robotics computer vision problem than an ocean problem, but focusing on like it's in an ocean context. So like with maintaining equipment that's underwater on the cabled array, if you had a robotic arm trying to like, let's say, pull a pin or grasp a handle, the goal of this project is just to try to like segment the target. So yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you. Wind wave model validation.
The goal of this project is to develop scripts to do wave model validation. So we are going to like kind of extract satellite along track satellite data sets of wind speed and wave bulk wave parameters, SSH. I'm sorry, SWH. Then after making like kind of spatial collocation and temporal collocation, we are going to make a comparison with some waves data set, maybe around the government or anywhere in the world. So there is model solution for also doing the validation. Unfortunately, there's only 1% involvement in the project. So I'm thinking if there are people that are kind of interested in this project, then we can move forward. But I'm the only one focusing on the project, and I'm thinking of maybe joining another group that's doing similar stuff or something like that.
Okay, great. Thank you. Classification of hydrophone spectrograms.
That one's mine. I'm not 100% sure that I want to stick with this idea. I might move to a different project, but this is a project I've sort of been thinking about for a while. I work with Ocean Networks Canada, and they have an archive of spectrograms generated from 5-minute clips of data. And there is also a corresponding database of annotations that contain just annotations of different types of whale vocalizations. And my thinking was to mine that database of annotations and then find the corresponding spectrogram images, download those, and also download other spectrograms that don't contain any annotations, and then train CNN to identify those spectrograms that contain specific vocalizations and those that don't. Yeah.
Great, thank you. And yeah, we'll set up breakout rooms, and you can move around. You don't have to stick with this project, but I see a couple people say that they look slightly interested, so maybe you'll have some people speaking to you. Okay, 16, there's nothing here. I think some of these later ones were moved to the Australia board. What's this one? Benthic habitat mapping.
Hello, this is my proposed project. Looking at image processing and seabed classification methods for benthic habitat mapping using possible multi-beam data sources, so from national seabed mapping programs. So bathymetry and backscatter data from the InfoMob project, which is the Irish seabed mapping program, and looking at some of the ArcGIS machine learning and deep learning tools. So it would require an ArcGIS license. I have one myself, but I'm assuming people would have one as well. And then maybe going from there, yeah.
Great, thank you. Art visualizations.
This was just an idea I threw out there, but it's a fun one. I feel like I did this sort of like art thing a while back where I have like this little touchscreen monitor and it had an NVIDIA Jetson Ore Nano, which had some like inference capabilities on it, and sort of did some art. And ideally, I think there's a lot of like data out there. There's a lot of different artists that make this generative art and interactive art. And so any of the data sets that I think you guys are using for your projects, you could probably also visualize some pretty cool, like pretty looking art with it. So just throwing that idea out there if anyone wants to run with it.
Great, thank you. Fun idea. 20, okay, there's nothing on this one. And let me pull up. It's right. I'll just quickly. I'm not sure what you guys can see. Are you still just staring at the same screen?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, let me try and get it. Do you now see one that says Australia?
Yeah.
Okay, great. There's not many in here. I just want to quickly show you the Australian ones. So we looked at this one. Georeferencing of drone images. I'm kind of assuming no one's here, so I'm going to flip through these quickly, but unmute yourself and shout if you are part of one of these projects or part of the conversation. Comparing bioinformatic pipelines to produce standardized output. In R, it looks like this one could possibly incorporate it into the species distribution modeling idea that was proposed in the US. And so it looks like there's a couple of links there. If anyone's interested, they could check them out. Not a project page. That one confused me because the Zoom was hiding the not a project page. Investigating the Indonesian throw flu. Oh, I can't see that. So there's some information there on that one. I'm not sure if any, like, you might have to look at the GitHub or the Slack to see if any of these have more conversation there about them. Passive acoustic monitoring. There's a lot of information on that one. And I think that's it.
Because on there are two, there's the, maybe I'll just call that out. So there is one entry that says kinetic energy spectrum of Earth, atmosphere, and Jupiter.
Oh yeah, those were, I did see those somewhere. Maybe they got removed. Did I miss them?
Oh, you did yours? Okay. You wanna?
I thought I did this.
Okay.
I wrote the list down earlier, so if you deleted it within the last hour or so, it's maybe on the list Woo Jung is looking at, but not on the slide deck anymore. So
We'll make sure that just do that. But do you want to give a pitch, maybe?
Well, I was thinking that, so from my understanding, the idea, the outcome of of this OceanHackWeek, at least for me, was to learn how can I access different data sets and how can I do basic analysis on those data. So I thought, I was wondering if we can have access to the data of the atmosphere. When I say data, I mean the velocity profile for a certain layer in the atmosphere and compare and just do a simple analysis on it. See the kinetic energy spectrum or the filtering spectrum of the velocity in the atmosphere of Earth and compare it to the same thing from the Jupiter or Saturn or both of them. That was the idea, just to learn how to work with the data. Yeah, that was the only person. Right.
Cool.
Great.
There's one more open source guide, I think. Is developing a real-time coastal hypoxia prediction system using machine learning. Is it from anyone here? Or online?
Okay.
Okay.
And is there anything else that we have missed? Did anyone else have an idea that they had wanted to share? Okay. Hearing silence, I'm seeing that we have 14 different pitches. So I'm going to create 14 breakout rooms. Wujang, are you going to share that numbered list with everyone somewhere?
Yeah, I think maybe we'll just share that Google Doc. Probably the
Yeah.
easiest.
I think
Okay.
it's in the, I put it in the projects folder. I don't know if anything that gets created there, if it automatically has access or if we need to change that.
Yep.
But, okay. 14. Create 14.
They just posted that list.